Good morning. Welcome to today's Chumash with Rashi, Chitas. We're holding Parshas Bereshis. We're going to be learning now Shvi, the seventh portion, and we're holding it's Parak Hey, Pasuk Chaf Hey. Pasuk says, "Vayichi misushalach sheva shana mushmenim shana." We're going to continue now on to discuss the years of these people who lived. So Mr. Shalach lived 187 years. Me'ashana be'yilad lamach, and he had lamach. Vayim Mr. Shalach acharei yilidos lamach shtayim u'shmenim shana u'shvama is shana be'yilad debanim u'banis. Mr. Shalach lived after he had lamach 782 years, and he had sons and daughters. Vayu kol yimei Mr. Shalach teisha v'shishim shana u'shama is shana ve'yomes, and all the days of Mr. Shalach were 969 years, and he died. Chav Ches, Vayichi Lamech Shtayim U'Shmenim Shana Ma'ashana V'Yilad Ben, and Lamech lived 182 years, and he had a son. Zagash V'Yilad Ben Shemimeno Nibna Ilam. From him, what does it mean? V'Yilad Ben, from him, who the world was built. Vayikra Shmai, Lamech called this child the famous Neach. Leimar, he says, Zayin Achamenu Mima'asenu. The Neach, this one will give us rest from our work. Umi'itzvain yodenu, and from the toil of our hands. Asher arara adinoi, which Hashem has cursed. Rashi says, Zayin achamenu, this one will give us rest. Yonach mimeno es itzvain yodenu, he will give us rest from the toil of our hands. Hachlei banoyach lehoya lahem kli macharesha v'hu heichin lahem v'yisa aretz mitzia koitzim v'dardarim shazarim chitim. Now, before Noach was born, or came around, they did not have plowshares, and he prepared these tools for them. And the land was producing thorns and thistles when they sowed wheat because of the curse that Adam got. And when Noach came, it was Noach. It was settled. And this is what it means. This one of Yenachamenu. Now, Rashi says that if we explain the word according to the simple or the apparent meaning, then this one will console. In other words, if we explain the word according to the apparent meaning, this one will console us. The child should have been called Menachem, right? Because he's being Menachem. So therefore, Rashi says that what does it mean? Yerachamenu is that the ground now became, the curse subsided, and that's why he was called Neach. And Lamech lived after Neach Chomesh v'tishim shana, 595 years. So, I'm sorry, Lamech lived after he had Neach 595 years, and he had sons and daughters. And the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. Lamed Beis, Neach ben Chomesh meis shana. Neach was 500 years old, and Neach had Shem, Chom, and Yafas. So Rashi says, Ben Chomesh Meishana, 500 years. Amar Rab Yudin said, Ma tam kol aderes helidu lekuf shana v'zel chomesh meis. What's the reason that all the generations had children at approximately 100 years old, and Neach had children at the age of 500? Why did Neach wait so long? Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Im Nishayim Heim Yevdu B'mayim V'ra L'Tzadik Zeh. So Hashem said, if these children are wicked, they will perish in the flood. V'im Tzadikim Heim Atriach Ha'alav L'Asis Tevas Harbe. And if they are righteous, I will burden him and making many tevis, many arcs. Kavish Es Ma'yanei V'Le'helid At Chomesh Me'ishana. So what happened was he closed the fountains, and he did not have children until the age of 500 years old. So that Yafes, his eldest son, should not be chayav for punishment before the Mabul. As the pasuk says, for the youth who is 100 years old shall die. This means at the age when he will be chayav for punishments in the future, as so it was before Mount Teda, 100 years old. So he waited that the children should not be raya for Chiyuv Misa. Now, the pasuk says he had Shem, Cham, and Yafes. But we know Yafes was the oldest son. So why does it start off with Shem? the reason why he's mentioned first is because you first talk about the one who was righteous, who was born mole circumcised, and from whom Avram was descended. We're holding now Pasuk Aleph and Perek Vav. Vayihi ki echel Adam l'roiv al pnei Adama. And it came to pass when man commenced to multiply upon the face of the earth, al pnei Adama, ubanes yuladu lahem, and daughters were born to them. Now, base, Vayiru bnei Elihim as bnei Adam. The sons of the nobles saw the daughters of man, ki tevis hein, that they are beautiful, that they are beautifying themselves. Vayichul lahem nashim, mikol asher b'charu, and they took for themselves wives from whoever they chose. So Rashi bar Elihim, bnei hasadim v'asheftim, the sons of the princes and the judges. Davar acher bnei Elihim, another explanation, bnei Elihim, these are the princes who are the princes who go as messengers of Hashem. They too were mingled with them. Every Elihim in Torah is an expression of authority, and this will prove and you shall be to him as an Elihim. See, I made you a Lord. When you are beautifying himself, Amra B'yudin Toivos Ksiv. Now, Toivois, Rabbi Yehuda says, it's written Toivois. Instead of Toivois, it should have been spelled Tes Vav, Vez Vav Taf. But it says Toivois. So it can be read as Tevis. It can be read as Tevis, meaning to beautify. So Rashi says, when they would beautify her, adorn her to go into the chuppah, a noble would come and have relations with her before getting married. Even a married woman, even males and females. Now, so what happened? They were pashut, they were shtufe bezima. So Hashem said, so Hashem said, let my spirit not fight forever concerning man, Shagam basar, because he's also flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. So Rashi which means let my spirit not complain and fight because of man. For a long time, behold, my spirit is fighting within me, whether to destroy or to have mercy. So let this quarrel not be in my spirit for a long time. Because he is also flesh. Because he's also because this is also in him that he is also only flesh. Nevertheless, he does not subordinate himself before me. So what if there were fire or hard substances? How much greater would this insubordination be? So Rashi says, he says, so similar to this is until Dveira arose, as if it were written Shakamti, and similar that you are speaking to me as if it were written Sha'ata, so too B'Shagam is like B'Shagam. V'yu Yamav, and his days shall be At Kuf Chav Shana A'arich Lahem Api. In other words, until 120 years I will delay my anger. But if they do not do tshuva, I will bring a flood upon them. If you're going to ask, the Chayra when Yefes, when he was born, it was only 100 years. There is no sequence of earlier and later events in the Teda. This decree had already been issued 20 years before Neach had children. And you find this also in Seder Elam. There are many midrashim, but on the words lo yadun, but this is the clear, simple explanation. Dalit, and Nephilim hayabaris b'yamayim, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days. And also afterwards, when the sons of nobles would come to the daughters of men, and they would have children. Hey Magibedem Hashem Elam Anshe Hashem. They are the mighty men who were of old, the men of Anshe Hashem. And the Nephilim Zagrashi Al Shem Shenoflu V'Pilu As Elam. They were called Nephilim because they fell and caused the world to fall. Lashon Ivris, Lashon Anokim Heim, and in Hebrew you call these people Anakim. Anak is like a giant. B'yam Mahem, what does it mean those days? We made Deid Enish B'nei Kayin, in the days of Enish and the days of Kayin. And afterwards, although they had seen the destruction of the generation of Enish, which the ocean rose up and destroyed a third of the world, the generation of the flood did not humble themselves to learn. So that's they didn't realize, they didn't take hint of what happened in Deid Enish, that this Ukuyunas came and wiped out the third of the world. So, Asher Yavayu, when it would come, Hayoyodas Anakim Kamesam, the mothers would bear giants like them, like the father. Hagibaidim, Limrid B'Makim, to rebel against Hashem. Anshe Hashem, the men of renown, Oisin Shenikvu B'Shemes, Irod Mechuyol, Mesushoel, Shenikvu Hashem Ovdan. They were called the name of Irod, Mechuyol, Mesushalach, who were so named because of their destruction. For they were wiped and uprooted. Another explanation of men of Shimamin, Shimumu Esa Ilam, who made the world desolate. Pasuk, hey, Hashem saw that the evil man was great in the earth, and every imagination of the heart, was evil all the time. And Hashem regretted that he had made man upon the earth, and he became grieved in his heart. It was a consolation to him that he created him man on the earthly beings. For had he been one of the heavenly beings, he would have caused them to rebel. What does it mean? He became grieved. In other words, man became grieved. Alibai, in his heart, shel makim of Hashem. Allah b'machshavtei shel makim lahatzivei. He entered the thought of Hashem to cause him man grief. So Targum Onkelos, this is the Targum Onkelos. In other words, that Vayis Yosef refers to the man. Another explanation of Vayinachim. That Hashem turned from Midas HaRachim to Midas Hadin. The Machshava of Hashem turned from Midas HaRachim to Midas Hadin. All of Machshava Lefana Malasis Ba'adam Sha'asa Baretz. He was thinking he was considering what to do with man. Also, whenever the Torah uses the lashon of nichum, it means changing, reconsidering. Uben Adam Yisnachim, as the pasuk says, nor the man that he changed his mind. And concerning his servants, he will change his mind. And Hashem regretted al hara, and Hashem regretted for appointing Shol. They are all an expression of having second thoughts. And he became grieved. He mourned over the destruction of his handiwork. As it says, like the king is saddened over his son. Now, a Gentile, like he says that that I wrote to a min, a heretic, to refute him. A guy asked once, Yeshua Mekarcha, do you not admit that the Eibishter sees the future? For sure. But it's written he became grieved in his heart. Why did he become grieved in his heart if he knew that the people are going to sin? So he asked him, was a son ever born to you? Yes. So he said, what did you do? What happened when your son was born? So I was happy and I made everyone rejoice. Did you not know that eventually your son's going to die? He says, at the time of, he used an expression to him, he said to him, at a time of joy is joy, And a time of mourning is mourning. So he said the same thing with the Eibishter. Even though it was revealed before him, Hashem knows that they would ultimately sin and he would destroy them. He did not refrain from creating them for the sake of the tzaddikim who were destined to arise from them. Pasuk Zayin, last pasuk of the parsha. Second to last pasuk. And Hashem said, I will blot out man whom I created from the face of the earth. I'm going to take everybody out. I'm going to take out the cattle, the creeping things, to the birds. Now, a lot of people make a mistake over here. People think means I regret that I made man. Now, Rashi doesn't say that. Vayemer Hashem, let's look in a second. Vayemer Hashem emchas Adam, who offer v'avi alav mayim v'emcha isei. He is dust, and I will bring water upon him. They also corrupted their ways. Another explanation is everything was created for a person's sake. And since he will be annihilated, so what's the need of the animals? Now, this is what I want to focus on. I regret that I made them. So Rashi says, I am thinking what to do about having made them. Okay, and let's finish the parsha, and I'll tell you a nice word from the Rebbe. And Neach found favor in the eyes of Hashem. So the Mefarshim ask, and the Rebbe dwells on this, and usually, as Rashi said before, nechamti always means I regret. So why Bechlal does Rashi have to say, we know nechamti means regret. Why does Rashi have to say something? And what's he saying? I'm thinking what to do about having made them. So the Rebbe explains beautifully. The Rebbe says that b'machshava, in the previous pasuk, if you look about kinichamti, it says vayinochem Hashem ki asash es adam ba'aretz vayisatzev alibay. There we're speaking about the Eibishter's machshava, and the Eibishter's machshava, he thought, perhaps in the machshava there's a mistake that it's time to destroy the mankind. And then Pasuk Zayin is telling us, "Kinichamti ki asisim." I regretted. What did I regret? I regretted the fact that I had a machshava b'chlal to destroy mankind. Why? Because of Nayach. Because of what's going to happen. And from here, the Rebbe learns a gevaldige hira in Avedas Ha'adam. It says, "Madach by Hashem, who knows everything. Hashem knows everything. Knows the future. Knows everything. And b'machshava, from the machshava, he regretted. And that's why even by Yomer, he didn't even want to bring out b'dibur. The idea of the destruction, how much more so we people have to done people a kav schus, we have to have judge people favorably, and as the Gemara says in Eruvin, Lashon Hara kills three people. Kills the person who says it, who hears it, and who's said about. So the question is, what did the person who was said about, what did he do wrong? And the answer is because when you verbalize Lashon Hara, when you verbalize something, b'dibur, a deed's dibur has an effect on that person, a metzias, and that causes harm to a person. So we have to be very careful. We learn from the end of the parsha, Hashem, b'machshava, he only thought about it, but b'dibur, he wouldn't even express such an expression. Okay, it's Shabbos.